School was not ever my thing. And it's not because I couldn't do it, it's just because I have a question for you. I was thinking about this and I almost did this today. I shot a video, not yesterday, but the day before that, and I haven't finished editing it, meaning that some of the footage is still on this SD card. And typically my morning routine is I'll make coffee and stuff, but when I pick the camera up, I'll format it so that I don't have anything on it from the previous day. But the thing is, I don't really use all of the space on the SD card, and since I've had formatting or card corruption problems in the past, I've been told that that's from formatting the card too much, just because the more you use it, the more it just gets old. Is that true? Like, the more you format it, the more susceptible you are to corruption, or is that just kind of like a wives' tale, or like, because honestly, like, I format it every day, and I feel like I should probably look more into that, because the cards that we use the most expensive Sony cards because the other ones got corrupted. And the last thing that I would want is a like $200, $300, however much these were, card to be corrupted because of something that I'm doing. Because I could totally just do it, like I could have a couple of days on the card. It's just when I go to import the footage, I don't want to have to sift through all of that, or I guess it's just a matter of scrolling down to the bottom of the last recorded thing. But if you know anything about it, or if you, I would appreciate it a lot. Also, today is supposed to be like the big solar eclipse thing, and I'm excited. I know what time Tennessee's gonna get it, and I was looking at a lot of stuff on the internet this morning about it, and it's a big range. Like, some people just think it's gonna be a cool thing, and some people think that they think the world's gonna end. So I guess we'll find out. I just spent most of my morning in an online class, and like I had to like take tests for a couple of different permits, but that's not important. What is important is the last time that I was in school was like before I dropped out of college, in my second year of college, and I have always, up until that point, I had never been a good student. Like, I was terrible in class. I could never like get good grades on tests, no matter how hard I tried. School was not ever my thing. And it's not because I couldn't do it, it's just because I just never found it interesting. I found it incredibly boring, and I never got a satisfying answer on why I was there and what I was supposed to be actually accomplishing sitting in a classroom for like 8 hours a day. And because of that, there was never a drive to actually want to get good at school or taking tests or anything like that. And this online class, because of the permits and everything, I had to take a test afterwards, and I found myself getting incredibly nervous, and I didn't know why. And afterwards, after I realized that I passed and all that stuff, I was thinking about it and kind of like reflecting on it, and I think the reason that I got really nervous was because the last time that I took a test, like in like a formal setting like that, I dropped out of college. And for years, because I never did well in school, I always thought that there was something wrong with me. I always thought that I just wasn't intelligent enough, because that's what you're told. At least when I was in school, that's what I was told all the time. Like, if I did bad on a test or if I got bad grades, then I was kind of stupid. Basically my destiny was going to be some kind of like manual labor, blue collar work job, there's nothing wrong with that. But at the time, everybody they almost made it a terrible thing. Like, the worst possible case was that, like, if I didn't do well in school, that was my future, no matter what. And that could not be further from the truth. And years later, after being out of school and being able to really understand, I realized like the reason that I never did well in that kind of environment was because that's not the way I learned. Typically for me, I have to have reasoning behind what I'm learning, and then I have to practically apply it and understand how to apply it. Me sitting in a classroom watching slideshows or whatever, which is what this class was, has never ever worked. Like, I get incredibly bored and I zone out pretty quick. I say all that just to, if you're in school now and you're kind of in the same position where you feel like it's just not working, but you're scared to drop out, or you're scared to move on past something else because of the fear of like, if I don't get this, then I won't. I won't be successful. It's whether or not you're successful is completely dependent on you. It's not dependent on the education that you get. It's not dependent on how well you do on a test. It's purely based on how hard you are willing to work and apply yourself in whatever it is. Yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to really. I was just thinking about that, and I feel like I should probably say it. One, for my sake, so that I can like mentally process it, but also it might, if it helps you, that's great. You don't have to comment anything if it did, because that can be kind of a private thing, but okay. Also, they're doing like road construction outside of our apartment right here. So if you heard nothing but road noise, I'm sorry, I can't do anything about it. I have no idea what they're doing. They're like they're literally tearing the road up. I might go check it out. Today we're supposed to start a new video, but this week we had a couple of things we wanted to get done. We needed to get done. One of them is the video, like for a wedding, but the other one is getting those permits, and they took all morning, but I got them done today, and I was expecting them to take a couple of days to actually do. So I'm not complaining, but all that to be said, we're supposed to get started on the video today, but I honestly, if I'm being realistic, I don't think we're actually going to do that. Just mostly because there's other things that we need to do, and that isn't due till the end of the week. So that's kind of like the furthest thing on the back burner. When you start making like money off of like a craft, and you start like running a business, like anything like where you have to make things or be creative, you quickly learn how to delegate things and push things back or pull them forward based on like due dates and based on how long you think the project is actually going to take. That's something I never really thought about until we started getting money and did this stuff like full time, because if you don't do that, you quickly realize, mostly just by the stuff being due like in one day or less, that you have to prioritize some things, and you have to put some things back on the back burner, even if you want to do those things more than the other things, simply because of a due date. I'm a big fan of due dates, but also deadlines can be kind of tricky. What's this helicopter doing? See it? It's flying super slow, and I mean it's kind of low, but it's very slow. This is what the eclipse looked like, by the way. Literally just cloudy. You know, I'm not really sure what they're doing. They actually might be, I think they might be taking, like drilling holes for like stoplights right outside of our apartment. That's the only thing I can think of, because they're literally just drilling a bunch of random holes in the asphalt. And that's pretty much it. And it's like down, all the way down past like to the next stoplight, and then even further. Went outside for the eclipse, and it was super cloudy, so we couldn't really see anything. But I feel like we either missed it, or I feel like there was an eclipse a couple of years ago. I feel like that was more, it got darker outside than this one. This one, it just looked cloudy. But again, it was already cloudy, so I mean.